Hello and welcome to the General's Reviews. I'm Chris McLeod, aka Diagnostic 80 from the Full Force podcast, and I'm joining Justin Bell from What's on Joe Mind and General's Joe's to bring you this review of the Vitruvian Hacks blanks from Boss Fight Studio. When Boss Fight Studio launched their Kickstarter to the world way back in June of 2014, I for one was amazed by the huge undertaking they had ahead of them. Their idea to create a toy line focusing on figures based on Greek mythology was awesome in itself, but a toy line that incorporated a customizable system fully designed by the team really made me take a step back. With the figures finally in hand, I can honestly say they smashed it right out of the park, and one of the key features that make these figures great is the highly articulated character kit system that they are named after. In the first half of the initial shipment to Kickstarter backers, we have the blanks. These very cool base body figures allow the user to break down the body into separate parts so that you can create different base structures and even easily customize your own characters by adding different accessories and your own paintwork. They come in an array of colours and look really cool. This is definitely where you can have a lot of fun with the figures. Justin is looking at two types of the blanks today, so without further ado, here is Justin with the review.
Good evening, this is Justin from GeneralsJoes.com. I am taking a look tonight at the Vitruvian Hacks blanks figures. I already spent some time looking at the Gorgons and the Spartans, obviously, which are the pre-designed and pre-assembled figures, but of course with Hacks being the highly articulated character kit system, it only seems appropriate to take a look at the actual customizing capabilities of these figures as well. I am looking at the one of the first couple of blanks that's available is the gray male blank, and I am checking him out right now. He comes poly-bagged, as you can see, and they're not messing around with frilly packaging, just trying to get him... Oh, and hey, you know, I cut him with scissors, but hey, look at that. There's some adhesive stuff right there. Hey, learn something new every day. So I didn't even have to use the scissors. I could have just peeled off the adhesive and he would have popped right out. But here is the gray blank. No real flashy colors necessarily, just a pretty basic gray color, a very nice gray color. That's something that I didn't really focus on in the videos yesterday a whole lot, although I should have, is some of the really crisp and clear paint applications. I mean, this is just a gray figure, but the shade of gray is really nice. And, you know, with the boss fight figures I kind of showed off yesterday were just, I'm still in awe of sorts over the sculpting and the design. They're fantastic. They're unparalleled action figures in the marketplace today. I haven't seen a 1/18 scale action figure with the same level of sculpting and articulation as the Vitruvian Hacks figures have so far, and really the blank is no different. Even though it is just a blank, it's you know, just a basic male physique. Even with just it being a basic male physique, the sculpting is fantastic. The musculature, the limbs are very slender, but still retain amazingly tight articulation. He moves in many different ways, twists at the midriff there. He's got great articulation at the hips, the knees, of course, swivel feet. His default head is a basic, you know, bald male head. You know, this is a character kit system. It is supposed to be, you know, a template for customizing. You can see the blanks also come with this boss fight stand. This particular male comes with a couple of different heads. Comes like a superhero masked head with just eyes. Comes with a head with some hair. Head with some other kind of hair. 3 different other head styles besides the bald head. Also comes with some what's called, I think, superhero feet, which is like plain boots of a sort with no toes or anything like that. Also comes with sandals, which is very cool. And of course the blank comes shipped with bare feet. It's got an extra set of hands. Just in case people are wondering, the reason they come with 2 sets of hands is that one set of hands kind of tilts one way, like this, and the other set of hands tilts like that. So you can kind of swap it around and decide how you want your figures to be posed, and they give you that flexibility. I know with G.I. Joe figures, typically they came with one hand that went up and down and one hand that went back and forth. Boss Fight kind of gives you a choice where you can swap out how you see fit, which is kind of a neat touch. But here's the figure. A lot of stuff is just pops off a little pressure. He's got the little dumbbell joint in there, which if you saw my previous videos, you kind of know how that works. That can actually pop out. You can pop that dumbbell right out so that you can put it back in the neck and create a little neck post, so you can use more common, Star Wars or G.I. Joe heads to go on the blank. And of course, it separates pretty easily at the elbow, at the wrist. I'm really not putting a whole lot of elbow grease in any of this. It's all just popping off fairly easily. Pops off at the mid-torso joint. Once again, it's got the little ball joint system right there. It's supposed to pop off. Yep, pops off at the shoulder relatively easily. Takes a little bit of pressure, but not a whole lot. Feet pop off, just like that. And what I'm going to do is, I haven't really experimented yet with the infamous butt screw. I've never done this before, so I don't know what the effect of unleashing the butt screw is going to do here. All the parts I've taken off so far didn't require any tool intervention. So the butt screw comes out. Okay, and you can kind of separate the waist piece. And here are the legs. Separate that kind of upper mid-torso point. And you see that little connector joint right there. These things are pretty crazy how exploded they get. That's the front of the crotch, for lack of a better term. I'm just picking this up closer to get a little bit of more power behind it. But yeah, you can pop the legs off. Takes a little bit of effort. Not a lot, but... So, there is your fully exploded, and there you have it. You've got the head, you've got the upper torso, shoulders, elbows, forearms, hands, lower torso, butt, front, being grammatically correct here. The little connector piece in the middle that kind of connects the legs with all the other parts, and the 2 feet. The knees, I'm not going to mess with the knees. I'm assuming there might be a way to separate at the knees if you really so desire, if you want to swap out lower legs. That kind of goes beyond my comfort level, so I'm not going to do that here. But you can see the capabilities for these figures is beyond impressive. I mean, there's a lot of different mixing and matching you can do. I'm pulling out I was actually prepared with my Spartan right here. And here's my Spartan. And you can see it's essentially the same figure. He's got his little leg armor, but that stuff can come off pretty easily. But it's a blank underneath. So you can imagine that any one of these parts and pieces is, fully able to be swapped. If I get angry because I don't have my my Stone Fist figure yet, I can just make my own. So screw you, Chinese New Year. I can make my own Stone Fist. There we go. There's Stone Fist. His little gray lower arm went together very, very easily. And I like the different capabilities for the head, how you can decide where you want the ball joint to be, whether you want it to be in the head or in the neck. Because in the head, I actually found it sits a little bit lower, looks a little bit more natural. But you can see how easy those parts are to swap. And when you get to the point where you've got a bunch of accessory kits and stuff like that, I mean, it only gets even more impressive with all the different stuff you can do. Now he's got like fire hand, which is pretty cool. I mean, that's awesome. Look at the transparent orange. I mean, that is a fantastic texture. Such a cool look. But just imagine, once you get to the point where you get like the Myrmidon warriors, once you get to those, I mean, it's amazing the level of customizability you have here. And of course, I mean, you can grab any one of these other figures and I didn't think about any of this before I just started filming, so I'm literally like seat of my pants. Of course, I'm saying how great it is that I've got this gray blank that I can make Stone Fist out of, and I've got the cursed Spartan right over here, who probably would have been an even better choice. And yes, the hand pops out to put the sword in, but then once it goes back in, it actually stays in pretty well. I mean, you can play it around without worrying about it falling out, really. It's a very, very nice figure. And even for being a blank, it's just And the great thing about the way that Fred and Dave have sculpted these things is just the dynamic poses. Like even standing him still, you can put him in all sorts of like different dramatic positions. There's a lot of emotion behind those parts, which is, you know, kind of silly to say because it is just an action figure, just a 4-inch action figure. But there's a certain, you know, I hate to say, you know, je ne sais quoi sounds so corny, especially when you're talking about action figures, but there's a part of that. You can sense when a certain amount of effort is being put into a particular kind of figure, when something is being phoned in. I think we felt that way a lot during some of those, you know, the Pursuit of Cobra G.I. Joe era, where you could kind of feel that things have been stepped up a notch a little bit. And that's kind of how I feel here. I mean, these figures are kind of etched to perfection. You know, everything just fits. You know, this leg armor slips on so snugly. The helmet fits on so well. The arms they plug right into the shoulder joints. It's not popping out. You know, I can tug on it a little bit. I can play and pose, and it's not popping out. There's just all sorts of great stuff you can do with these. Pop his head off. But if you're okay with like letting it rest on there a little bit, you can do that. I don't know how interchangeable the shoulders are and stuff. You do have, I mean, if you're talking about the females to males. But that's essentially how these blanks operate. They are fully, you know, they can be fully broken down into any number of different parts, swapped all around however you want. It truly is a custom kit, and you can really do some pretty amazing stuff with it. And I'm loving what I'm seeing here. I really want to mess around with this transparent orange guy. He's pretty badass. I want him to get some of those other transparent colors in too, because there's all sorts of potential there. Of course, I also want some accessory kits. I mean, I kid you not. I mean, I have been essentially, you know, working, eating meals, and playing with my Vitruvian Hacks figures for the last 24 hours. It's really unbelievable. I just grab random figures, set them down here, and I'm having a blast here with these things, with the weapons, with the different arms and legs. And that's the incredible thing, is just that, you know, for collectors, a lot of times it's buying something, sticking it on the shelf, and being done with it. And I'm not feeling that way with these. These things have not hit a display shelf yet. I just keep on finding poses that I love, different things to do with them, to you know, enjoy them. They're just crazy, and you can wrap the snake tail. I mean, this is just the kind of fun stuff that I want to do with these figures. I can't just like look at them. I have to tool around with them, but it's amazing. And this is kind of what I'm talking about. I mean, I'm filming a review about the blanks and their customizability, and I just can't help grabbing a black racer and wrapping up this, you know, firearm Spartan. I mean, that's as cool as these figures are. It's just amazing. There's so much fun to be had, so much play feature. I will say, I don't know how many people have heard me talk about a toy line called Z-Boss. It was sort of a precursor to Sigma 6. You know, the same design team worked on that line that worked on Sigma 6, and Z-Boss is just an action figure line that I absolutely loved, because you could swap parts, you could, you know, look at them and they looked amazing, but then once you did stuff with them, they were equally amazing. And that's just one of the things that I really enjoy about toys. I mean, I'm not a guy that's going to buy something, stick it on the shelf, and be done with it. I'm going to, you know, I want to play with it. I want to pose it. I've did Dio stories forever, because that's the type of stuff I love to do. And I don't do Dio stories so much anymore, but it doesn't mean I still don't want to fool around with toys and actually buy toys that do things. And the hacks totally fit the bill on that for me. This is a blank figure that is essentially just a 4-inch figure of a dude with no armor or no weapons, and it's just amazing how much, you know, how well balanced, how much fun just posing him in different weird positions is. But I mean, they're amazing. Superhero customizers, you're going to love these. You know, obviously Greek. Anybody who's a fan of Greek myths at all, you're going to be all over these things. They're really great. And you know, I guess while I'm here, maybe I'll take a peek at Black Racer a little bit too, because she is customizable in much the same way. You can see her arms pop out just like that. look. Don't be a pervert. And her elbows, and her hands. I mean, this is line for line, same as the blanks. This mid-torso. The snake tail is really fascinating too, but we'll take a look at that in just a minute. So basically here's what I told you about the dumbbell, how you can leave it in there so it's a neck post, so more normal heads can kind of fit in there. But yeah, that's all broken out. These gauntlets, they slide on really snugly. I don't know if I want to fight with it here, but trust me, I have taken them off. They come off, they slide back on perfectly fine. So if you want your bare black arms, you can do that. The snake tail is an absolute marvel in engineering. There's individual posts with kind of these ball joints here that run all through and underneath. And yes, you can disconnect them at every segment if you want to. But that is what gives them their full posability. But the cool thing is that the tail is rubber. It's soft, and it flexes with the joints really, really seamlessly. And then, this goes over the final piece, but it's really amazing that, how they engineered this tail. I can't even fathom. These are guys that I've known for many, many years, and the fact that this design, was developed in their brain, that I know somebody who came up with this design is like, it's a little bit mind-blowing. And you see she's got the little nub at the bottom there to kind of snake into here. It's incredible. It really is incredible. The engineering that goes into these toys is beyond impressive. But you can see it now. I essentially have a pile of parts. My whole work area is now scattered with just random parts, and I can just pick them all up and I can smash them all together and do all sorts of different things. And it's just impressive and amazing. And I am extremely excited to get more of these in. Can't happen soon enough. And again, this is Justin from generalsjoes.com with a look at the Vitruvian hacks from Boss Fight Studios, looking at their blanks figures.
Thanks for watching this review by Justin Bell of generalsjoes.com and What's on Joe Mind, and from myself, Chris McLeod, aka Diagnostic 80 from the Full Force. If you've enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and let us know what you think on any of our numerous social networking platforms. Goodbye, and see you next time for another Generals Review.